there. I'm just gonna. Oh wait, I gotta click another button. I forgot. I always mess up on this part. I don't see why it wouldn't hurt because you know, if I'm on your stream right now, Lorenzo, and for anybody watching my stream right now, because my stream just started, I'm currently just wrapping up on Lorenzo Sleestack's channel. I'll drop a link in the chat for anybody interested. And getting back to you, Lorenzo, yeah, I think it helps with the engagement metrics for people to be sharing one another's channels, but I'm just kind of guessing here, you know. But I'm gonna pop that link in. There we go. And I mean, yeah, the sub for sub crap. That's a good point. Basically, yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying, though. They essentially like penalize certain things, and I mean, the rules change so often. Sometimes it's just best to not, you know, like even you know follow the rules. I mean, yeah, there's certain rules you got to follow, but you know what I mean. Like, it's pointless to please the algorithm or please the organization because they're always doing like they're always changing it up, you know. And so somebody's got to do your own thing, and then the only time that it matters is like if you're monetized and you're trying to protect that monetization. And that's like where like I took exception with the likes of Tim Pool because it's like when the you know when the whole thing that time you know in 2020 was going on, I remember he had a pretty hardlining stance against certain you know rules and certain things. But then when like his channel, like when he was more concerned about protecting his channel, he suddenly flips the script and he's like you know quoting the you know the mainstream propaganda like as if he's being objective. And I didn't appreciate that. That was like when I basically unsubscribed, stopped funding Tim Pool. Yeah, pretty much. Like, and that's the thing. He would be like this, you know, as people bitch and they would say he was like a fence sitter or perpetual fence sitter or something like that. And it's because they wanted him to take a stance. And I don't mind people being like diplomatic, but he sort of is doing it in such a way I think that rubbed people the wrong way for one reason or another. Mm-hmm. like he was covering for himself or something like that. Yeah, no, I mean that's basically what he was going for. You know, it's like he was sort of like, I think people got pissed because it was like, is he listening to the wind and trying to like adapt to what his, you know, subscriber base like, so to speak, instead of. Yep. Yes. I agree. That's pretty much, I think, the angle. And I can empathize with people's position on that, you know? Yeah, it's pretty much how I see it. I think that it was wishy-washiness a lot, too. That's a reasonable angle to look at it from.
The wind is howling here at the abandoned gas mines aboard Ibarra. Or is that the crowd? These fat gangs sure.
Pretty much. That's interesting. Maybe that's true. You know, I don't know. I just got tired of like trying to figure it out. So I said, you know what? Like, I'll just do my own thing, sort of type shit. You know. And Adam Krigler, what's interesting is like he's true to himself, but like I got bored of his show, but I never stopped subscribing because at least he was true to himself and true to like what he said. You know, his statements seem to be congruent with like his you know, his stated positions. And the other day I got a shout out. I got to make a clip out of it because I got a shout out when I left the members chat, and he was like, "Holy shit, 38 months!" You know, so I'm like, I feel like that's something that I should definitely like make a clip out of. You know. Adam Krigler, Tim's old co-host, the guy with the long hair. Yeah, so he has his own show called The Krigler Show. Because when he left Tim Pool, he like started that. And so Yeah, that too. There were other people after him, but he was like originally Tim's basically like so, you know, sort of like a best friend, you know, like so it was like I guess kind of like a weird situation that they stopped talking. Yeah, it's true though. It's like and even Lydia is gone. The lady who was like the lady in his show, and of course that Molly lady, she long since stopped talking to Tim. That like oh wow, yeah, I didn't know that. Yes, I remember that one. Oh, that was weird. Kicking the dog or some crazy shit. I think she like allegedly said he kicked her dog or some crazy shit like that. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I that's another thing like where I just and like I mean the thing with Tim's brother, if you remember Tim's brother, like whatever the fuck his name was, that shit was weird because they had like a whole thing where his brother tried to sue him for a boatload of money, and then there's like videos where on his Cast Castle channel they're all buddy buddy after that. So it's like, well, was this made up just like to get like clout? I mean, to make drama? Mm-hmm. The fucking I know you're talking about Reactor or no is that other the news name is I know you're talking about the fucking like Hotbox. No, I know what you're talking about. It had the website. It was like called Subverse. Yep. And then he ended up using a different name, and then that site got hijacked anyway, because I remember that Rocco Castoria guy. Something about that guy seemed off, and it seemed to kind of pan out as, you know, Tim had some untrustworthy friends or something. It was very fishy. Yeah. Yep, that's the guy. He's the weird guy who... Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Depends on the laws, like I guess, like it does. The president, even if someone's scared of a camera, if I'm filming in public in America, at least, I'm still allowed to film. But Europe is weird. It's, I mean, not weird, weird by my standards. shit. I'm sorry. I was on mute. I was agreeing with you a lot on that, by the way. I'm sorry. I was on mute for quite a while. But yeah, I agreed with a lot of what you said. I did say, like, I don't know what the fuck about Tim with certain things, but basically I agreed with you. And then the only other thing was with the disaster food. It's like, when you combine it with all of the other bullshit, and he's profiting from that, then it kind of like builds a case. But, you know, I think it's something we should continue sometime, because I don't want to hold you up on your, you know, sleep, because I didn't even know I was on mute. I apologize. Yeah, I was on mute for a while. Holy cow. But no, that was pretty much, you nailed it mostly on that whole Tim thing. And at some point, I don't even know where I was started muting and what part to repeat. So I don't know, I'll leave you to it. And I'm just going to play some Pod Racer. I got you. I apologize for that. But yeah, you know, basically... No worries, man. But yeah, no, you know, but it's like a metaphor, you know, but you know, he's got to understand that, like, when he used the word hyperbole, which he used that word wrong. He'll say the word hyperbolic, which is more like a mathematical function with a parabola, but he really needs to say hyperbole, not hyperbolic. But he'll always bitch about hyperbole, and he's the one who usually, apparently in some cases, he's the one engaging in it as well. So, you know, basically... Yeah, I think it's a fair way to put it. But, you know, it's why just the preponderance of things that make it hard to trust that guy for me. But, I mean, like, there's people who have issues with him, but their issues with him are different than why I have my issues, which is pretty much everything. Like, I'll have an issue with some conservative politician, but when I'll, like, you know, Google to see if anybody is like-minded, it'll usually be, like, the, you know, canned version, the CNN talking point, as opposed to, like, my reason for having the issue with the guy. Like, you know, my angle is like, oh, the guy's not embracing his values with honesty, and they'll say, oh, but this guy's got, and they'll make up, I don't know, I'm not, like, they'll say whatever, like, this guy's a threat to democracy, or this guy's a Christian nut job. Recently, there was the new Speaker of the House, like, they were just saying some crazy shit about the guy, and I don't know if I like the guy or not, but he seemed pretty reasonable, and they just kind of, you know, have those canned talking points where they make him sound like some lunatic when he seemed pretty, like, reasonable. Like, I don't know anything about the guy, but just speaking wise, he doesn't sound like a madman. In fact, that's what they did. They criticized the guy for sounding reasonable. They said that, like, oh, see, he makes all of this crazy right-wing stuff sound reasonable, and that's the real danger. So it's like, when a guy's unreasonable, he's bad, like Trump. When he sounds reasonable, he's bad because he's making it palatable to be, you know, whatever they hate. So I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. You know, there's some truth to that, you know, but it's sort of like, you know, well, yeah, that's a whole geopolitics thing right there, you know. Like, what they're trying to, that's part of that narrative, right? They're trying to say that he's got some affiliation with, you know, with Putin's country, and that he's, you know, looking to forward their interests. So, of course, they're trying to say that also the election, there's collusion, and that he wouldn't have won without that collusion. So, I think they're combining the narratives, and they're just trying to find anything that would support that narrative. In this case, apparently, it's him preventing the sale of arms being, you know, evidence of him being a puppet of that guy, you know, or some you know, some shit like that, you know. Well, not two yet. That's the thing. That's probably it. Like you said, like the other people heads would have to roll if they used that particular thing. So they had to find something that other people can't be accused of, because of course, if they didn't, the defense would be, well, these other people are doing the same thing. You know, kettle calling the pot black. You know. Mm-hmm. I think that he might have been legally permitted to have those documents, but you never know, because people would say, oh, well, he's allowed to declassify anything, and then other people would say, no, he's not. But honestly, that looked like a witch hunt. And in particular, what bothered me was, like, I don't know jack shit about that, but what I do know is that people were running around with these pictures of, like documents in a toilet, and they're like, oh, see, look, these say secret documents on these ripped up pieces of paper, and it's like, this isn't really evidence of anything. Like, it looks like you just, like, someone, like a reporter took a picture of a piece of scrap paper that they threw in a toilet and made a claim. You know, this is not real evidence, but you know, I guess based on people's confirmation biases, it's like they know that there's going to be a viewer base who will happily, you know, eat that right up. Yep. Well, as I understand it, he wasn't. As I understand it, Trump was actually legitimately cooperative. He, like, you know, he saw it from, like, the Department of Records or whatever it was. He was like, okay, so you would like me to do this? And they were like, we want you to put these in a more secure place. So I guess maybe some people would argue that the goal was to prosecute him or accuse him of not securing them correctly. So he said, okay, how would you like me to secure them? And he followed up. He said, okay, I will use this type of lock and I'll secure it as you guys tell me. And they kind of just moved the goalpost on it at that point. At least that's my my view on it as I currently understand it. Yeah, I mean, like, as I understand it, those were documents that he had access while in office that he took with him to his estate, which he may have been allowed to do for his job, you know, and well, so that's a weird thing. People made it sound like, some people made it sound like he could declassify anything at the, like on a whim, like just by being like, I declassify this, like without signing anything. And I don't know if that's true, but that's what some people characterized it as, being like some weird presidential power, but I'm not going to pretend to be, you know, aware. Like, I don't even think he might not even need to issue an executive order, but what I do know is that there was a lot of projection, and it's like, I almost like didn't care. Like, I mean, I do care like what the real answer is, you know, because I do get like getting into the details, but I see a lot of projection where like other people were doing, you know, similar things or worse things. I mean, you had that email server thing that Hillary had, and the only example people had, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was that too, and then there was the whole, like, you know, bleach. I don't know, it's a whole bunch of shit there, but that was a whole can of worms where it looked like a potential case of rules for thee and yada yada yada. Yep. Yeah. All things being equal, it's like I could find something wrong with each and every one of the ones in my lifetime, you know, and, you know, so when I judged Trump, I said, well, let's like try to put this in the scale of what we've experienced so far. You know, something may or may not be right, but it's like, all things being equal, if this is okay, I'm gonna have to accept this other action as being okay, you know, or something like that, you know, or we're gonna have to prosecute other people for a lot more, especially if it's some minor thing. Like, if it's a real offense, like, you know, it's like, okay, did he really give nuclear codes? And there was no evidence. And that's another thing. People would kind of make shit up, you know, or not make shit up, but exaggerate something and not show the receipts, as, you know, one might argue, right? You know, the receipts, the evidence, you know. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, that was like, that's a great example. Because, like, maybe that's against Geneva Conventions and stuff, but, like, I really didn't think that was any more egregious than what we've seen already. And it's like, I'm not, it may not like there's valid criticisms against that, but it's like I don't think it was like the biggest, war crime by any measure. It's like, okay, yeah, please go on. No, actually, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. I'm sorry. Well, what? Well, that's the thing. So exactly. So that's a valid concern. He almost starting a war. But the beautiful thing was that a war like didn't ensue. It was like we fired at them, they fired back at us, and then it was like, okay, we're even. Have a nice day. And like, so what I liked was we, where other presidents would use something like that as a pretext to make a bigger, thing about it. Maybe do some nation building. In that instance, we didn't get that result. We didn't end up in a war. So did he violate something? Maybe. That's possible. Mm-hmm. That, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's always going to be the critics, depending on people's confirmation bias and whatnot. No, there's always going to be critics, depending on everyone's confirmation bias. Every, executive will always have people who feel like really strongly or some shit. But half the time, I don't think people care about honesty because when their own guy does something similar, they don't give a shit all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a whole, yeah, I don't know. This current situation is a bit messier now. I mean, like New York City, the budget is like strained by that whole situation that we have currently now. And, I mean, the refugee thing, we know they call them asylum seekers, and we know that's just an excuse to, like, like facilitate. And then there's people who are, even Democrats in New York are unhappy right now because, not a lot of them, but some of them are unhappy because, like, they see they set up these tents to like put up put up housing for the people who are asylum seekers, and some of the Democrats in New York are like, wait, why aren't we doing this for the homeless? And I know why we don't build tents for the homeless. It's basically just a moral hazard. It might promote people to keep doing that, but at the same time, if we're willing to do this for people from abroad, it is a valid question. Like, why don't we do this for people from within our country? That's an interesting question, in that regard. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is a part of it. But yeah, right now I'm just fighting with this telescope here. I got a weird setting. It's not centering on the target, so it's basically what I'm working on at this point, man. It's got me in the zone here. And you're sounding, you're underwater again. All right, man. You have a good night. Thanks for having me on, Lorenzo. And for everyone else, you know, as usual, I left my link above. And with that being said, everyone have a good night on Lorenzo's channel. But I'm on my channel, so catch you guys later. See you later, Lorenzo. Thanks, man. Alrighty, I'm back. I appreciate everyone's patience there. Usually, you know, sometimes like we wrap it up pretty quickly on my friend Lorenzo's channel, and other times it takes a little bit longer. But it is true. I am troubleshooting an issue here where, like, I think like what's happening is like I'll use this thing called plate solving where it automatically aligns the telescope. So we pick the star out, right? Like this one over here. And we have it in the center of the frame. So we told the computer, we told the software, okay, aim the telescope at this target. And so now it's going to move. I think it's going to move. Did it move? Huh. I think it wants to... Okay, well, that's fun. Sometimes I have to close the app and reopen it. Looks like it's not cooperating. So that's not even the issue. The issue is the coordinate systems. And so it basically will like automatically align the telescope, but the target won't be in the middle of the frame. But in other news, if anybody wants, I'm about to go back to Pod Racer because I really want to show off that I can now beat that level. I'm going to play it maybe like one more time just to kind of show I've conquered the hardest level in episode 1 Racer. And just at the right time, I think my mouse ran out of battery power, which sucks. I hope it didn't. Okay, there we go. So first things first, let's see if we can get the telescope to aim at that star or that whatever it was called. It had like a weird name, had like an old Arabic name, like Mechanalin. I can't pronounce that one. I was just gonna see. So normally this program is supposed to like just move the telescope when I press Control 1, and it suddenly doesn't want to work. So I'm just verifying that. Okay, yeah, no, keyboard definitely, the control key definitely works. So let me see if I could try to figure out why this isn't working here. Because I should be able to click on a star and press Control 1. And it should aim the thing at that star. So we're going to try again. We're going to park the telescope. And then we're going to try pressing the button. And it should give me an error message when I do that. Okay, that's correct. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to give me an error message when I try to aim it. But now, when I press the button again, this reticle should move into position, and it's not. So that's kind of annoying, and I may just take a break and go back to pod racing. But that is something I would like to fix, you know? I mean, it's such a minor little thing. I think I'll give it one shot. I got to reopen the app one more time. I want to make sure it doesn't go into full screen mode when I reload it. But, you know, if anybody's in the chat and they want me to get my butt on the pod racer, let me know now and I'll go right there. But if nobody speaks, I'm going to spend another minute trying to fix this because, you know, we're making great progress. So oh, yeah, so I don't think anybody from yesterday is here right now, but I did figure out the issue from yesterday. Basically, the telescope, I mean, the computer was overheating like crazy. And even though it was outside, it was pretty cold out like last night. And it basically turned out the motherboard was trying to overclock itself. Like it had a feature called the OC Genie. And this is like an MSI feature that literally is supposed to like probe the CPU in a sense and like get it to overclock in like a sort of semi-automated way. And that's kind of cool if, you know, overclocking is your cup of tea. but as you can imagine, it also creates some weird issues, you know? Okay, we're gonna do Pollux. So yeah, it creates some weird issue. Whoops, dang nabbit. So it seems to be acknowledging the command when I press the button, but then when I do it like right here, it doesn't do anything. So that's freaking annoying. And I have a hunch actually. I have a couple of ideas what's going on here. But yeah, so basically the computer was overheating because it was overclocked and it didn't have adequate heat sink, or it didn't have a liquid cooling. Because that's basically when you overclock, you need to have a liquid cooling or a large heat sink radiator type thing going on. And so basically the solution was to turn off the overclocking. And once I did that, I had to do it while I was sitting in front of the computer. There was no way to do it from inside Windows. Oh, cool, cool. Okay, no, that's okay. You don't have to be sorry. I'm going to just try this telescope aiming thing one more time. I don't know why it's not cooperating right now, but I have a couple of ideas. I think what I should do is park the telescope and then reopen the app after racing a little bit, you know, because sometimes the brain just needs time to regroup before things work again. So we're going to disconnect. There we go. And I think I'll even close the video capture, image capture utility too, because I had an idea where we want to, oh my God, the settings are different here. Now, so good news, I got this new version of the app that used to crash my old computer, and now it works like a charm on this computer. So that's good. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like it's in basically good shape. So I think with that, we're just going to hit apply and okay, and then we're going to go and open up. We're going to open up the pod racer now. So oh yeah, so this is the key to my success. So let's talk about pod racer now. So my key to success on this level was twofold. When I went to play it today, I went downstairs to my plasma. That was critical right there, you know? Because my plasma TV is just, it's got a good response time, right? It's got a good response time. It's got, whatchamacallit. I mean, plasmas have an inherently better response time. That's just the truth of the matter. And what I was doing was I was using the OBS preview window to like play the game on my Windows screen. But what I'm doing now is I switched the input on my monitor. So I think that I was getting a slight delay when I was looking at it from the OBS window. But now that I turned off the, now that I switched it directly to my monitor, I get like as little delay as possible. In fact, almost no delay. And so I figured out, I think the plasma was like making a, see, okay, so the key is I tap the trigger like that. That's the key basically. So when fuck. Okay, let me do that again. But basically the trick is that I tap the gas like when I'm going around that turn basically. Now the slide turn, I think I understand it too, but I don't use it a lot. Like this level, there's only 2 places I would use it on. Right, let me focus. So tap, tap, tap. Basically just watch the thrusters and you'll see what I'm doing to like accelerate. And I don't really try to like turbo this thing. And then once I'm here, this is the key. So once you're on this yellow thing, you're good until the next lap, basically. You can do anything you want until the next lap. But there is one more shortcut. There's also a cool way. So right here, you make a left right there. And you bypass the long path that I just went on. And if I fall down here, nothing bad happens. But if I stay up here, it does help a little bit. Because if you can get on top of this track that I'm on right now, you can cut around the turns a little more easily. But as you can see, it didn't really slow me down a lot. So now, until the end of this lap, like, I don't really have to focus on anything important other than not crashing and not falling down. So right here, and then I usually would keep the turbo going until this point, but it doesn't really matter. The point is that, shit, that was close, that was close. And sometimes, here's the worst part. You just saw how I blew up. I don't think I did anything wrong. I think it must have something to do with like little metal bars on the side of the track. But because like I bumped into it in just the right way, my pod racer blows up. And once your pod racer blows up on the upper level, they respawn you on the bottom level. So minor nuisance there, but like because it's not much of an obstacle anymore, I don't get stressed out having to start over. But you know, like once I conquer this, I won't play this level for a while. Just I thought it'd be cool to share this on stream. Let's see here. I'm going for all of the achievements, the Padawannabe says. They should be real easy to get. Okay, if there are slight turns on a straightaway, if holding the slide... Oh, could you tell me how this works? If holding the slide, you get a little more smooth control and controlled motion. Okay, wait. Slight turns on a straightaway if you're holding it. You know, I think I remember that working, actually. Okay, so... you know what that works on? Or a good way to test that turn feature? I sometimes test it at the end of the Tatooine level. And... as you know, there's 2 Tatooine levels. There's one at the end of the game. Oh, god dang it. That time I got rear-ended. And it's great, the Tatooine level at the end of this game, like the, you know, like the last level, that is way bigger. Like the Beggar's Canyon is more like a system of canyons, not some little tiny thing. Oh shit, that was close. That was a little too close for comfort. So once again, we make that left. Then we get to the upper level here, which is more like a matter of convenience. It's not absolutely necessary that we maintain our position on this. It would have been nice. It would have been nice, but it's really not important. If anything, it's a good way to practice. You know, if you can stay on the top level for both of those, it shows that you're really on point, you know? And what's great is the engine overheats right there. So let's see if I can try to use the sliding motion here. Nah, I'm not that good yet, am I? Fuck! Pardon my French, it got me. I'm using this right now. I'm using a Switch. I do want to play this on the PC. I do want to play this on the PC soon. But right now, I am playing on a Nintendo Switch. And there's actually a fan edit of this game that has really nice graphics. But I haven't dared try that yet. But yeah, so that's the answer. I'm using a Nintendo Switch controller for steering. And it's funny, I used to play the PC version of this for a while, and as I remember, it was a little better than the N64 version, for that matter. There's like a trick if you get stuck on the side wall there, it makes you like crash, and then you end up cutting the lap where you go. It only takes you 37 seconds instead of like a minute or 2, or not even. It's like you complete the lap in a very... There we go. See, I'm on top now. See, this is like what I was talking about. It's like you don't bump into as many walls on that cut. But to basically stay on the top, I find that I have to slow down a bit. So I think it's a wash. Like I don't think there's any clear advantage. The key, though, is the 2 shortcuts. Okay, one shortcut is an absolutely essential shortcut, because without the first shortcut, you literally fall to 3rd and 5th place, like, in a second. And that's this part here. This is the first, you know, shortcut. It's really not a shortcut. It's just the only way to win is to, like, stay on top here. Like, there's just no way to, like, win. You can fall down once, supposedly, but I wouldn't even want to do that. It's a little safer for me to be like the way I was just driving when I know there's nobody behind me. It's a little safer to do that, but it's usually not safe to slow down because you get rear-ended and killed pretty quickly. Oh shit. Okay, that's okay. That doesn't matter. Remember, like, that was just a convenient, like, shortcut right here. See, not really important at all. In fact, it might really not matter because just now I made short work of that. Ah, okay, I was trying to use that trick, that slide. See, I don't really have the slide quite figured out yet. I'm working on it. And this lap here, once you get through this lap, like, oh my god, that would have caused me to blow up. I would have been screwed. But yeah, if you're playing on a video capture card and you have any doubt about your delay or response time, addressing that, it definitely makes it, you know, I think matters. At least for me, it mattered because of the way I was playing it on my computer screen in a actual OBS window, which is generally not a good idea, but there are times where that can work. But in this case, it was like too like troublesome to do that, I think, because like I felt the delay. Oh, I didn't even notice my engine was cooking it. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm basically winning now. I could literally be... where's my map? See? Whoops. I ended it. Okay, so now... So I have this on Nintendo Switch right now, and I do have it on N64. And that's an interesting question. They had a sequel to this on PS2? I did not know of that. I did hear about a PS4 version of this game, but it was a re-release just like the Switch version. But this isn't the Padawannabe. That was the invitational circuit. So I already achieved first place earlier, but I did a replay just now. And I did Winner Takes All. And actually, I beat the game. So, over here, you can see, like, I got all of these. Now, there are some interesting bits of advice when it comes to buying parts for the car. And what it comes down to is, you get 4 top-tier parts. And if you have 4 pit droids, they can always maintain them. But since I bought more than 4 parts, there's always going to be a part that's going to be in shit condition. And other parts that are in moderate condition. And as I understand it, the damage system is based on randomness, but I don't know if that's true. You need a stick to turn easier. Yeah, I think so. The keyboard, so the trick with the keyboard, if you use the keyboard, you do a lot of tapping, right? It's like, sort of like the way I was using the gas pedal, right? Because I had no way of, like, you know, letting off on the gas. It's either like on or off. So if I want something in between on and off, I have to tap it. And that's like the gist of it, you know? But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm the Padawan learning here, huh? No, but I think there was some improvement. Now, I don't know if they could record ghosts on any platform. I wasn't even aware of there being ghosts at all in this game. Really, yeah, honestly, that is smart to hold off on buying parts as long as possible. And unfortunately, I don't think the repairs happen unless you're on a new track. Like, the repairs don't happen if I replay an old track, which I thought they did, but I'm somewhat sure if they don't. Now, maybe when you beat the game in its entirety, it's another story.
And other treacherous scum of Uvo 4.
It's been a long time since the last race here at this maximum security facility, but time is something you've all got.
Now, this one I've never played on an Invitational, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Probably a real pain. And I'm sure there's going to be some curveball here that I'm not aware of. What the hell? That was weird. There's some kind of like weird like physics in that tunnel there where you like it makes you move side to side like really quickly. And all of this I've never yeah, I've never drove it. This is my first time on this. Like, this could be one of those tracks where, like, they trick you into going on a long cut and I wouldn't even know it. Like, for all I know, I could go, it could be just like the Abyss, where in the Abyss, you know, you fall down, like, out of nowhere, and it's, like, tough shit. Like, that right there looked like... In fact, I may have just taken a shortcut here for all I know. I have a funny feeling that if I... Oh. I don't know. I have a funny feeling about this. In fact, I'm not even on the trail anymore, apparently. Oh, there we go. Kind of cool looking though, I gotta say. Assuming there's no tricks that can force me to go into third place here, this is pretty cool. I mean, like, that asteroid belt really adds to it too. I shouldn't be looking at the asteroid belt, but it does, like, add to it. Oh, what the fuck? That is sick. But, you know, practice makes perfect, or at least improved. Practice makes improvement. And, you know, I was going to practice, like, literally go in practice mode and do that really difficult track. But then what happened was I watched a YouTube video today, and it kind of just clicked. And then at that point, I said, you know what? I better play it on my plasma to make sure that, you know, I eliminate any delay whatsoever. I also wanted to hang out with my turtles, and that's why I played it. And my turtle, one of them, she sat on her dock and looked like she was watching TV with me. She probably just liked being warm by standing near the light. You know, you're lucky that you shaved your head, because, like, man, I put some fucking Just for Men hair dye in my head today, and my scalp just started itching a little bit. But last time I put that shit in my hair to get rid of gray hair, that shit made my head mad itchy, because I put it in for, like, instead of 5 minutes, I left it in my hair for 10 minutes. And apparently that's, like, not, like, you're supposed to follow the directions with that stuff. And I said, never again. And so, luckily, the itching was moderate this time, because I haven't even noticed it till just now. But, yo, that last time, dude, it was crazy. And I see you said something about Mario Kart. I just can't read it because I'm fixated on my car, Pod Racer. But I am very proud of my accomplishment in this game. Ow! I'm still very proud of myself despite crashing. Oh, come on! What the fuck is that shit? Alright. N64 record ghost on the memory cards, and you can trace yourself to Oh, dude! That's cool. You know why that's cool, Padawannabe? That's cool because I have a device on my desk that can actually copy N64 memory cards to a PC, and I can transfer one memory card to another memory card, and I should have two memory cards here. I should have this one here, and there we go, and this is another memory card. See, I got two memory cards next to my BC304 data list from Stargate, and my Stargate trading cards as well. But yeah, dead ass, like, that's the thing. That's a cool peripheral. Oh, Fraser Kane. Oh, God. I have the Fraser Kane hairdo, but my wife likes the stubble. So I go for the Jason Strahan. That's funny. Mario Kart could record, and I think Diddy Kong Racing too. Interesting. I think I have a copy of Mickey Mouse Racing. It's sort of like a dumbed down version of Mario Kart, from what I can understand. I can't believe you said Fraser Kane. That's mad funny, because I actually know who that guy is. I haven't watched him in a while, but he's alright. He seems like a nice enough guy for the most part. And any failings he has, it's because he's Canadian, and I can forgive that, you know, because you can't control where you're from. My barber, my hairstylist, the lady I go for my haircuts to, She was saying like Elon Musk was suspicious to her, and that the moon thing is suspicious. It's like we haven't gone back, and it's like I get that people want to believe that there's some extraordinary reason why, you know, we haven't gone back to the moon, but it's really just mostly an economics thing, and you know, a couple other factors, but that's a big part of it. And maybe yeah, we bumped into aliens and they said go no further. That would be definitely quite a ominous and eerie, you know, answer to why we haven't done it. But that actually would be a valid answer to why haven't private enterprise gone to the moon? And that might be why. But anyway, but it's probably economics. I want to make some good times on hard tracks on Mario Kart and send him to Matt Cave for content. Ooh, that'd be cool. So like, what would you have to do? Would you have to like save it to the memory card and then like send it to Matt, or does he just take the numbers? Like, you don't send him a file, right? You just tell him the number, basically. Like, maybe take a picture of your screen. Like, in fact, is Matt Cave doing any competition? I gotta ask him if he's doing any competition with this game. Because I mean, I'd certainly be down to get some numbers here. And you know what? I should practice Mario Kart now. He's a retro gamer, so is he playing the old Mario Kart or the new one? Is he playing both of them, maybe? Because I've been wanting to get into the what do you call it? I've been wanting to get into the old Mario Kart, the new Mario Kart, with Snowdub and Punk Waddle, you know, just like, or odds boards, you know, when they play after the puppet show. I took a day off from work on Tuesday the 22nd. Hey, there was a tunnel I missed. I wonder if oh yeah, there would have been a shortcut into that tunnel. But yeah, that would be a 2-day work week, and then I'm on Ryan Raja after that's the 21st, I think. Yeah. I did that wrong. Yeah, I would tell you to buy yourself a Dex drive for the, you know, to copy memory card saves to the computer, but then, you know, he would have to have one too, unless he's playing an emulator. Wow, and then the other issue is that the only way I can use this memory card device is if I'm running Windows 98. So you either need a Windows 98 machine, which, like, I feel like that would be up Matt Cave's alley just by virtue of, like, you know, being retro. But the way I do it is I run Windows 98 in a virtual machine. And I was having trouble conveniently copying the files from the Windows 98 virtual machine, but it's not impossible. There's a couple of different ideas I could deal with that. And realistically, I could just mount the virtual hard disk drive from Windows. So, okay, we got first place in that, and I did Winner Takes All. So that means I'm not going to play again right now, but I'm just going to take a look at my winnings. Now, I know when I won the Tatooine level, they, what do you call it, like, played the ending credits for, like, you know, a long-ass time. But what happens when you win all the invitational circuits? Like, is that it? You get first place on everything and it's over? Like, what happens? What changes? I have no idea, but let me read the chat now. If there was water or food in the moon, we'd be living there already. And it might be some water, but it's not like a game-changing amount of water, right? I will send him a memory card for the N64. It will have my ghost's on-screen visibility. He can try to beat me like we were playing at the same time. That's really cool. And it's kind of hilarious that you're doing it the old school way. In fact, that's one of the selling points of this device here that backs up the memory cards. Like, it's got like on the box, it's like send your game saves to your friends and compete with your friends. You know, all this crazy shit. Like, and then there's also a website back then that you could go to where you could download different game saves, almost like cheating, basically. If he beats it, he could save it and send it back. Then I can race him on my system. It's so old school. I love it. I think you get mirror races available at mirror races. Okay, you know what? I want to see what that's like. So first I want to take a look at this thing here because this thing was pissing me off. So basically I closed all of the astronomy software. We're going to reopen it now. And basically it was using the JNow coordinate system, and I set it to J2000, which should match up with the other program that I'm using. So if I say connect to the mount and I verify that, it should somewhere say oh shit, I just remembered something. I never set this up, but this is super important. So it's unrelated to anything, but basically when you rotate the mount, if you move it past the 90-degree angle, you can get some weird problems. So what this does is it allows me to set a limit so that the mount never overshoots the mark. And I'm going to set that right now before I forget. Normally, it's a good idea to stand next to the telescope or have a camera looking at the telescope in case like it goes out of control and you got to run outside and pull the plug on it. In this case, I'm pretty confident I can rely on the readings I'm seeing here now. So right now I'm just getting this to like I'm actually going to go put a little bit past 90 degrees because I don't think anything bad happens. There we go. And then we're just going to hit the plus sign. In fact, I should probably like roll it back a little bit. Now we bring it back to the west. So now that green circle is going to go back to the center. Then I'm going to bring it to the green. I mean, bring it to the left or to the west, I should say. But yeah, this computer is amazing so far. Temperatures, it could get toasty, but it doesn't get like before. The processor was getting to like 150 degrees Fahrenheit because it was overclocked. And when it was inside, I felt heat radiating off the top of the computer case. It was insane. And I was like, okay, this is a little sketchy, but maybe this is how this is supposed to work. So I left it alone. But then when I put it outside, and also I was thinking that, okay, maybe it's overclocked, but if I can't disable it, I was thinking, well, if I put it outside, the cold air will keep that in check. And it didn't. It was like, despite the cold air, this thing was like cooking. So I was like, I was like, let's just be playing it safe and like, you know, figure this out. So I did it. And now, as you can see, it's like keeping 65 degrees, which actually is a little toasty considering that it's pretty cool outside. But on the other hand, it's not an issue because the way I see it, like I did wrap it in Mylar. I did put a Mylar blanket on it in case it started raining a little bit or drizzling. So, I mean, I may put like a fan in the computer. I got a couple of ideas, but right now it's not anywhere near overheating. In fact, 65 degrees Fahrenheit on a microprocessor is phenomenal. I mean, like, what is that in Celsius? Like, that's got to be some, like, crazy low temperature. I'm very interested to see what the temperature in Celsius is. So we're going to switch it to Celsius. If I can figure out how to do that. Display temperature in Fahrenheit. And apparently if you hit Celsius, uncheck that, it goes into Celsius. 19 degrees Celsius. Before, it was like at like, it was like at 70 degrees Celsius, which is like crazy hot. Like I said, it's like around 150 something. And now it's at 19 degrees Celsius. So I'm actually very proud of the temperature of that computer right now. Although, I mean, I didn't do anything other than turn off overclocking, but it's pretty cool. So anyway, and we got the app. It sort of minimizes to the taskbar, but unfortunately, like, oh, you can't see it, but these numbers here show each CPU core, which is like, these CPU cores are on the same processor, so why would they each be a different temperature? I wish it didn't show all of the cores, but I guess, like, maybe there's a setting to disable that, but I'll wait to see, like, how everything performs, you know, before I, you know, change anything permanently. What is the G15 applet? What is that? What is the G15 applet? I don't know what just happened. All right, let's disable the G15 applet because that did not do anything. Oh, okay, it's a glitch. It's like you try to turn on a feature, it just turns itself off. All right. So in that case, and so actually I reset the high and low temperature to see like what it reports now. But before it was only clocked out by 200 megahertz. Instead of being 4.1, it was 4.2 gigahertz. And it got obscenely hot at that temperature. It's like that's why I hate overclocking. It's like I'm against it. It's like why would I want to purposely like go out of my way to make a computer malfunction like that? So anyway, hey Google, volume 2. Hey Google, volume 3. Hey Google, what's the temperature? Hey Google, what's 47 degrees. So the computer is a few degrees warmer than what it is outside. And I think what happens is when you open up an app, the CPU clock speed goes up based on the utilization. And then when the utilization goes up, the temperature goes up correspondingly. So it's like it went from like, what, 50 something degrees to 70 degrees. But it's like still well within like desirable limits. The bigger issue is running this computer in the summertime outside. I mean, that would be the bigger issue. But right now, let's just see if we can get, ooh, Bodhi's Galaxy. If I could just get the automatic alignment to work right, I'd be really happy because I'm a little annoyed about that, how like the automatic alignment just kind of spits out a result that like is way off. It's like, not way off, it's like, it's just not in the center of the frame, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I have the right settings, I just made it J2000. Every parameter is in place. We're gonna try it one more time. And then I'll jump back and forth, you know, start the next invitational circuit while we're here, huh? So now, yeah, but this thing runs amazingly. Like, as much as I love the laptop that broke, this here runs so good. Like, that only thing I might do is like put that same computer hardware into a smaller computer case, you know? A friend of mine suggested hooking up USB over Ethernet, which is an interesting method, but I don't trust it. I might use it for certain devices actually, but I wouldn't want to use it for everything. And I found out that when you get to the USB 3.0 hardware over Ethernet, things start to get a little pricey there. So, yeah, definitely not sold on that. But it's cool. I can type in the name of a planet now, and it doesn't lag when I'm typing. So that's like really cool. So right here, it looks like we got a little bit of, oh boy. So we got the mount status here now. That wasn't enabled before, now it is. But I may not be looking at a part of the sky that is clear. See right there, that doesn't look like a clear patch of sky. So those clouds may have come back. So I may have to just wait for the sky to clear up before I resume what I was doing. And so what I can do is I can use this as my cloud viewer basically, because I think this camera here refreshes. Oh no, I mean there's some haze in the sky, but I don't think it's that bad. It's a little inconvenient. Yeah, I mean there is some haze there. Yeah, I guess so. So I could check on that periodically if I want. But I'd say, like, even though it's not perfect, the other day I couldn't even get auto guiding to work. Auto guiding works, so that's really cool. But you know, it's like if there's not an issue in one area, there's an issue in another area. But I gotta say, if I solve the issues I'm currently having, it's like I don't even have to play whack-a-mole. It's basically solved. I mean, like, all of the important stuff is basically solved. So let's get this show on the road here. So we're not upgrading the car unless I'm told to upgrade the car. Oh, wow, that looks amazing, actually. But unless you tell me to upgrade the car, I'm not doing it yet. What is this, Mustafa? I didn't even read the name. Mustafa. What the fuck was that? I don't even think I hit anything just now. When you said mirror race, does that mean you played a race backwards? Well, I guess I'll find out soon enough if they win this, huh? What the fuck was that? That was sick. Oh, I see these random lava flows. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I hope that was a shortcut. You know, I never finished the Steven Ransom interview with Pops. I really can't wait to finish that. It's pretty good to listen to. And more importantly, I really want to watch the new Porvial episode. Shit, I still haven't got caught up on that one, man. And I'm not leaving a comment on either one until I finish them respectively, you know? Like, I'll finish the one with Steven, then I'll comment on it, and then I'll finish the one with the Porvial, and I'll comment on that, you know? If I have anything to say, I guess. Maybe if I don't, I shouldn't leave a low-quality comment. But yeah, this game is pretty off the hook. I'm really glad that I bought this on Switch, and I'm glad that it plays as well as it does, and I'm glad that I'm enjoying it. Now, by the way, about your Nintendo 64 controller, so, you know, did you do any repairs? Did you buy a new gamepad? When I went to Retropalooza, I almost bought, like, a broken N64 controller, but I didn't know how confident I felt about replacing the analog stick at the time. But I'm seriously thinking about buying one of those replacement analog sticks for my N64 controller, because I know I have the Atomic Purple controller, and that one's in okay condition, but it's not perfect. And then I have the gray controller. That thing, that stick is like, I've seen worse, but it's not in the best condition either. Like, I've seen N64 analog sticks that were really bad. Like the ones they had at McDonald's, those were always in weird condition. Especially when you see the random McDonald's that still has an N64 in it. That shit's hilarious. Yeah! I hope Pops and Troy Puchelli would be proud of me as a pod racing pilot, driver, racer. I'm an excellent pod racist. Right? That's what they call them, right? If you're an expert at pod racing, you're a pod racist. I want to get an award for my excellent sportsmanship and racism. No, okay, stop. It's terrible. Oh my god. I'm terrible, actually. I mean, I'm winning anyway, but I mean, like, it's more like, and I think that's like, I got every pod racer upgrade. Oh yeah, I always wanted to try this one out. I saw a video of some guy playing this shit the other day. I don't even know what it is, but it looks cool. Now, I don't know if the 4 engines make it better. I feel like it's not regulation. Alright, so I did it all. You lied to me. There's nothing more. It's over. There's no more game. No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. But it sure feels like it. You know, I mean, at this point, I might as well try out that new pod that I just got. Where is it? Is it in the beginning of the list or the end? Maybe it's at the beginning. I'm going to go here. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Mirror races, whatever that means. I mean, not whatever. I think it literally means in reverse. So we'll try it out right now. I think something feels off about this one already. Wait, I don't know. Is it mirrored? It feels like it's not backwards. I guess maybe it is, and I do feel a little bit uncoordinated right now. So it's not in reverse. I guess it is literally a mirror. I wonder what happens after you win the mirror races. Oh yeah, that's a mirror race, all right. Wow, that's bizarre. Holy shit, it's like a new track. Oh, I never noticed the houses on the right. That's kind of cool. This is kind of interesting, playing a mirror race. One thing I want to do is I want to try to master this game in cockpit view. Maybe not in mirror races, but when I was a kid, I used to play in cockpit view because I thought it was like, you know, it was like more accurate or something, you know, like more realistic to be in the... But then on the other hand, it does get a little disorienting after a while. Like right there, when like 80% of your view is being blocked by the engine, that can be a little distracting, I gotta say. Like, and that's probably why I like that pod racer that I've been using the whole time. Because, like, it's not disorienting when I see an engine as much. I'm gonna crash. Watch this. Oh, damn it. I was hoping... See, that would be cool to have third-person view because I love crashing at the end. So that's kind of cool. So now we actually have, like... You know, we got... We got... What is his name? Mr. E.B. Endicott. And then we got, like... 3-lap record, best lap... And then we got, like, this part here where it's like I just played as this other guy who got the best stats. So, okay, that makes sense. That's interesting. I'm not going to play any more of this right now, but that is very interesting. Like, you could do mirror on all of these, even the really difficult ones. Holy cow. So, I've mastered this game, I guess, right? Maybe, like, I could challenge myself by trying different pod racers, maybe, or something. I mean, in a way, that would be good, just like because customizing them in a different way than before would be kind of interesting, I guess. And I mean, how much money do I have? Like I have 25 grand right now, although I don't know what I'd invest it in. I'm a little confused about buying parts for different cars, you know? Like, what happens, like, if I switch cars and buy a part? I don't think anything changes if you've already bought a part. I know it's very confusing, but either way, I'm satisfied. And I didn't leave the sound on. I forgot to turn the sound on for that last race, but oh well. Basically, we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. We won. So now let's go inspect that telescope again, because that is a matter of great concern. Okay, so the clouds are a little bit less severe right now. So if I readjust the histogram and we capture a picture in this mode, despite the halos, we should be able to get like enough of a quality picture to attempt plate solving. And there's two ways to do this, but I'm really trying to do it using this thing here because, you know, it's like, that's how I usually do it. And so normally what we have happen is In fact, it looks like it's off target already. I don't know how it could be off target already. Like, I told it to aim at that target. I don't know how it knows there's a tracking error unless I'm overlooking something. And I have a, you know, that might be an answer right there. So let's see if we can investigate the coordinates system. Now, I could also download additional star maps, which I will do, but oh, wait a second. What's our date and time? Date and time is correct. Okay, because that would throw things off, I think. Yeah, I think we got the right date and time here. Wait a second. Maybe that's a issue. Let's double check my coordinates. What if my coordinates were off the whole time? But no, that shouldn't really affect it. But let's see here. So I'm going to go to this website where I type in my address. All right, good. So I probably shouldn't be giving people my coordinates. Actually, that looks like that might be huh. It can't be that simple. Could it be that simple? Let's confirm it one more time. I think it is that. I think I might have identified the issue here, but we got to reopen the star map again, and then we're going to try something here now that we know. So basically what we want to see is, okay, we're looking at Capella. It's a bit off target right now. What happens when we plate solve? So it should realign it or show us the true aim. And it did. And it shows that we're really off target. So then what we do is we center it again like we just did now. And then we wait for a few seconds. And at that point, the target should be like right in the middle, right? It should be like right in there somewhere. And it's not going to be. I guarantee it's not going to be in the center. As soon as the exposure updates, we're going to see that it's not in the center. And you're going to see right there. Oh, it's not bad, actually. That's almost on target, it seems. Maybe it is on target. I don't trust it, to be honest, but we're going to see. That is a slight improvement from before. I will give it that. That is a improvement from before. Yeah, I think it might be fixed this time. So I must have updated settings and had to simply close the app and reopen it. I am a little bit concerned about my coordinates, but I'm going to leave it alone for now as long as everything works. Although, actually, no, I'm not going to leave it alone because having the right coordinates matters, right? So let's see here. To see the right coordinates, I need to disconnect the mount from everything for a moment. So we're going to disconnect it from Stellarium. We're going to disconnect it from this app over here. And then we got to tell it we want to configure this. So I go to, like, I think options or properties. So actually, no, it looks like 40, 37, 14, 74, 9, and 4. 21 feet elevation is approximate. I think we're good here. I think we actually have the right settings here. So then we go back to Stellarium. We try to find the setting here. Where is it? Whoops, there it is. So, okay, 40, 33. I'm going to change that right now. I'm going to do 40, 37, 14. I shouldn't be calling out my coordinates, should I? $74, 9, 40, 78, 40, 70. Then okay, and then we should be good here now. So now I think I have to resync the map. I think we're basically in good shape. I think we nailed it this time, so that's kind of cool. But it did reset. We did reset a bunch of settings. So yep, okay, that looks good actually. That is fantastic. Now let's see here. I wish I had a cloud camera to monitor to figure out where the sky has the most cloudiness, but barring that, we could pick like a star cluster that is high up in the sky, maybe like the shoe buckle cluster. Definitely not going to do any nebula tonight because I don't expect anything from the nebulas. What is important though is that we get something that's past the meridian. So, whoops, why did the software yell at me? Oh, I see why I'm not connected. Okay, let's connect to the mount. There we go. Now I can click on a target and re-aim. So let's go to the shoe buckle cluster. And it looks like it aimed the target. So next time the picture updates, it should show some streaks. Okay, there we go. That's something. Did it actually move the telescope to a new target? Because it feels like it barely moved, but I think it's progress. Yeah, actually, that looks like progress. But yeah, so we won episode 1 pod racer completely in its entirety, first place on every race. The Padawannabe who was here earlier, or might be back, I don't know. He advised me to well, he answered the question and I confirmed it. When you win the entire game, you can replay all of the tracks, but in a mirror, like almost like everything is horizontally flipped, basically. So other than that, the backyard computer is running great. The CPU is showing 85 degrees right now, but yesterday it was outside and it was colder outside and it was showing 150 degrees on the CPU. So we fixed that overheating issue by, you know, properly disabling the automatic overclocking feature that I didn't want. And that made a huge difference in terms of usability. At this point, we also succeeded in getting the auto guiding working, but after getting the auto guiding working, I was having a problem where I would use plate solving to automatically center the telescope on a target, and it would be off by like a half a degree or something. It'd be like off by half a frame, basically. So like if the target was supposed to be in the middle here, I would use plate solving and the target would be like over here. And it would say everything's okay. It'd be like everything's on target, it's perfect, and it's like no, it's not. So I updated the coordinate system based on, you know, some search results on cloudy nights. And at this point, I mean, look, if the weather clears up, I can continue what I'm doing, but I'm not expecting the weather to clear up. I'm just happy that it's supposedly not going to rain, although the backyard computer is sufficiently protected from a drizzle as it stands right now. So there's really not much else I can do, but I am super pleased. In fact, I think I should record an astro log. So if you forgive me, for anybody who does tune into this stream, it's going to be a little weird because I'm going to use this moment to record a brief video. So yeah, from the top, I'm going to hit record and literally record a video of that I'm going to upload. Alrighty, so we have an astro log for Friday, November 10th, 2023. Time is 3:10 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time. Now, a couple of days ago, like last week, my laptop took a bunch of water, and that's my backyard laptop in particular. It took water, and it was no longer usable to control my telescope. So I had to like get something up and running. At first, I tried my good spare desktop computer, and I ran into some issues, multiple issues. And so even when I overcame one issue, the other issues were not overcome. So when everything was said and done last week, I fell back on a really old computer with a dual core CPU at the time. And although there was some upgradability, that particular processor was AMD Phenom 2, and it just wouldn't support certain applications anyway. Luckily, I was able to rebuild my good old computer, and now we're packing an AMD FX 8350 8-core CPU, although it does see it as a quad core, even though it's really an 8-core. And yeah, we got enough RAM for what we're doing here. And we have a Seagate FireCuda SSD, which I have never had any complaints about it. And I could definitely go for slower drive here, but I'd say it's good to have a fast drive in this case because it just helps, performance wise. And I feel like I should record this video again, but I'm not going to do that on a stream. I did hit the pause button though. That's what's cool about OBS. You can pause a recording. So anyway, one thing that I would be curious about, I haven't tested yet, and it looks like right now, because it's kind of hazy outside, I can actually test the performance of the camera. But so far, no complaints. So far, no complaints. Yeah, I'm going to re-record that video again. I think I'm going to end this stream and then record a video so that I don't waste anybody's time. But yeah, so anyway, for anybody who's watching on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And for now, we shall end transmission.